And so for you, Mr. Nope, is it still your intention to move forward with a contested hearing?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm having a very difficult time hearing you. Could you please speak a little louder?
Sure. I was just confirming it's still your intention to move forward with a contested hearing today.
Well, sir, I am being put in a contested hearing box, but if you've noticed all the documents I've sent to the court, I'm challenging much more than that, including I'm here by special appearance only. I'm not here by general appearance. I'm challenging jurisdiction. I'm challenging every aspect of this, and violations of due process, violations of law, and the fact that I was never notified about this and that it was already turned into a committed without me ever receiving any notification. Have you had a chance to review all of my letters and requests for disclosure and discovery, my affidavits? I've put many documents into this, and I'm challenging all aspects. So I can't really even say it's just a contested hearing, other than that's the only box you gave me any possibility to sign on this thing. And by the way, this was only a warning I was given. I was never issued a citation. The citation is not a charge. I mean, the warning is not a charging instrument. It's simply a warning. I've been stopped times before and no citations were issued, and I've been stopped after and no citations were issued. This one suddenly miraculously turned into a citation long after the fact, and it was already termed committed, which is absolutely a violation of my due process. I would also challenge entirely the officer's report and the citation and many other aspects in regard to due process and law. And I can say much more if you will allow me.
All right. Well, Mr. Nope, give me a moment here. I do have all your documents here, and I'm looking at the docket notes for your case as well. So let me take a look at a couple of things here, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that last part.
I said I've got your documents here in front of me, and I'm going to take a look at a few things here before we move forward. I'm going to get myself more up to speed, but I do have all your documents here. So give me a moment, please.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Mr. No, have you received any documentation from the prosecutor's office in response to your demand for discovery? Looks like that was filed on January 13th.
Well, no response was ever made to all my requests for disclosure and discovery or my affidavits. So I would assume they stand as fact in law. They were not rebutted or they were never answered. Then I did get from the office, not from the prosecutor himself, but from the office, from some woman claiming to write the affidavit, and sent a copy again of the officer's report, which I will contest every element of, and the citation again, as if that is all I'm entitled to in terms of discovery and disclosure, which I do not believe is proper. That is why I already put in my motion to dismiss for violations of due process. I have done this before. I have been conferring with legal professionals all the way through this, including a professor of law at a major law university. And everything I'm doing, it has a basis in law and is about my due process. I'm not in the category or status that it can be limited in the way that it seems to be trying to be limited. And I can read that off for you I have it written down if you would like, though it is in my affidavits and all my other requests. I'm not, I've been misidentified. That's in my affidavit. I'm not an incorporated person or a 14th Amendment citizen. I have been mistreated by this court very badly in the past, and my proof of my foundational instrument, a handwritten cursive note of real birth, not a birth certificate issued on bank paper, none of that. I introduced that as evidence in this court once before, and they took it from me and never returned it. So that evidence being taken from me and never returned has caused great problems. But I've done the affidavit that shows I'm not in the debtor category. I'm not a 14th Amendment citizen. I'm not an incorporated citizen. All of those, as well as the misidentification in all capital letters, which has real foundations in law. So I've asked for this to be dismissed in many ways, and I'm still asking for that. And I will contest many elements in the officer's report citation and the circumstances in which it occurred, which were very improper.
All right. So what we're going to do, Mr. Nope, I'm going to put you under oath. All right. I'm going to ask you some questions about what happened, and I'll try to also kind of walk through how we got here. So please raise your right hand. All right. You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth?
As best I can remember, yes.
All right. So first of all, to address the issue with the earlier finding of committed, it looks like that was found committed due to a failure to respond, which does happen after folks don't respond to a traffic ticket. Part of that notice of infraction that you get does outline ways to respond and some deadlines, and we don't hear a response that becomes a found committed. Now you're here, which means if folks, even after it's found committed, if they engage with the court and set a hearing, then they are able to come back and contest their tickets here. So we are here at a contested hearing despite that earlier finding of committed. All right. Now it sounds to me like based on what you've submitted and what you're saying today, you've got two issues here. It's like the stop and then the issue with driving without insurance.
Yes, right, this is not a moving violation. This is a paperwork's warning.
Well, I'll let you. I've read the police officer's report as well. I know you've already said made some arguments here, but now you're under oath, so I'll go ahead and let you explain your position with respect to what's in the officer's report. That is what we're focusing on here, is just that October 11th traffic stop and the allegation of driving without insurance. So go ahead.
Okay, so I want to make sure I understand. You're telling me I'm only have the opportunity now to challenge the officer's report right now? Is that what you're asking for?
Well, no, I'm saying that's the officer's report is alleging you were driving without insurance. And if you want me to find that not committed, I would suggest that that's what you focus your arguments on.
Okay. If you look at the officer's report, it is false where he states he was in the very beginning. The officer was down a side street perpendicular to the road coming down out of Rainier. Perpendicular, hiding in the dark on a side street at approximately 12 midnight. I saw the officer car from way ahead. It's a 25-mile-an-hour speed zone at the bottom of a hill, but I was not speeding, nor did he stop me for speeding. Hang on. The officer could not see my brake lights one brake light that he's claiming was out from that position. Also, I might add, there were two officers, and that's omitted completely from this officer's report. There were two officers, and one tried to give me legal advice. Now, I was not speeding. I saw him. I went down the hill. He was already pulling out after me before he could ever see any brake lights. Then, as I went forward to the stop there, the stop sign in the town of Rainier, that would be the only place he could have seen that. he is misstating completely. First of all, he was not driving, as he said. He was parked down a side road.
I'm going to just butt in here a little bit. So you're not cited for driving without a brake light. I understand that was the reason for the stop. The citation here is for driving without having your insurance.
Right, I'm getting to that.
Right. I would suggest that you get to that a little bit quicker.
Well, these are the circumstances that prove that he's not telling the truth, in my point of view. So he's not even saying properly where it occurred, because I was stopped out on the highway. He then followed me after I made the turn on Highway 507 toward Yelm, and followed me for a great distance before he made the stop. So his report is false, where he's even saying he stopped me. It was not at the intersection of Binghamton and Idaho streets. That was where he was hiding, down low, where it started from. But it's not where he stopped me at all. So that is false. The next thing is he is not telling the truth about the discussion that went down there.
Okay.
And I put him on notice if any of my rights were violated or my due process was violated, that I would take the matter further into court. And that is what I'm doing. So many elements of this are improper. So I asked for this officer's report to be a cause for dismissal, as well as all the other things I've motioned.
Well, Mr. Nope, what you haven't said is you haven't denied that you were driving without insurance. Is that what you're arguing?
Well, the point is are you making me an offer as if I have insurance now, or are you asking me a question about then?
On October 11th, 2025.
I think I have the right to not answer that question under the Fifth Amendment because of all the other issues I've outlined that are improper in this case.
Well, Mr. Nope, you don't have to answer, but the officer said that when he pulled you over, indicated that you didn't have insurance, and driving without insurance is an infraction under state law. And so I do find that infraction has been committed.
Wait a minute. That is not what he said. He said I didn't show him proof in that moment. He then demanded that I email the proof to him, which is not proper or due process at all. It was not that I did not have it or show it. He simply claimed that I did not show him proof at that moment.
Are you saying you showed him proof?
What's that?
Are you telling me that you showed him proof of your insurance?
I handed him a bunch of stuff that I wanted to get out of there because I felt the situation was very dangerous. I don't recall what I actually handed him, but I also gave him the discussion that I'm not operating in commerce and I do not believe I am required to carry commercial insurance as that RCW is suggesting, or that it can be proven to apply to me.
All right. Well, Mr. Nope, I am finding that the infraction committed. The RCW does say failure to provide proof of motor vehicle insurance is a traffic infraction, and you are required to carry motor vehicle insurance while driving on the public road. So I do find that committed. All right. You'll have 60 days to pay the ticket amount. And I understand that's not the outcome you're looking for here today, but that's the ruling of the court.
Then, well, I would like to say something more.
Well, Mr. There is an appeal process. All right, we got a lot of folks on the calendar today, and we are going to move on.
I need to ask about appeal. I need to appeal this then.
All right.
So
well,
I need to get the form for informa pauperis to be able to appeal this, because I cannot pay the fine or the filing fees to appeal this. So I will be appealing this, and I need to know what I have to do.
What you got to do is you contact the Thurston County Superior Court Clerk's Office, and they can get you all the information you need for appealing a traffic citation out of district court. That's where the appeal goes.
And how much time do I have to do that?
They'll be able to tell you that process is over in Superior Court. So talk to them and they'll let you know.